It's not every day that I get to sit down with a hero of mine, a gentleman that played a brand of football which was exciting to play against, to watch, and also just know how great he is. Today we are joined by Mr. Thabo Mngomeni, who played for Cape Town Spurs, Umtata Bucks, Orlando Pirates, and played 37 times for the national team. We are happy on the whistle today to say welcome, Mr. Thabo Mngomeni.
Thank you, man.
Thabo, let's get straight into it. I hated going to Umtata Bucks to play you guys. Tell us about your time in Umtata. It wasn't a very fashionable team, but what we knew at the time, it was a team that players wanted to play for and enjoyed them playing in.
Hey. Oh, well, my man. That's a true thing, I mean. That's a fact that I really enjoyed my stay in the Bush Bucks, even my play. I think it's because firstly, I felt like I was at home. Since I'm a closer speaking guy. And our pitch, it was a fact that our pitch was a different pitch from all these other pitches that we used to play in. It was hard, bumpy, and the weather there, it was very hot. Eh? It's like playing in Venda most of the time. Eh? And we knew that most of the teams that are coming there, they're afraid they couldn't enjoy playing there. Other than the pitch, our style of playing, we understood each other as players. The Tsepotswanes, the twins, the Mugeis. I don't know whether you still remember Brendan Silent.
Listen, I remember the Mugay brothers very well.
The Tsepotswanes. I'm telling you, it was easy playing there because the mere fact that when the ball goes to any player, you could anticipate what's the next move, where you must go. You understand? So it was easy to play for. And the fans, my man, I'm telling you. I'm sure you also knew that you could jeer them, especially when you are losing, maybe when you are called down. There was a song that they used to sing there when we are called down. I'm telling you, that used to touch us, eh? And give us that extra energy. And I will get mad, even though I've not been the captain at that time. But I used to bring the guys together and tell them, hey, we can't lose here. Huh? Let us play what we know. It was a lovely Landoka experience then. I mean.
You know, when people think back at that team, and you mentioned a few names there. You mentioned the Mugay brothers, you mentioned Brendan Silent, you mentioned Mark Anderson, Tsepo Twane. These are good legend players that went on to make a big name in the game. What attracted you guys to Umtata? Because it was away from, more inland, not at any of the big cities. So what attracted you to that team? So many good players.
I don't know about the other players, but for me, Transkei helped me in a way. As I have told you that I'm from Cape Town, and you know us here in Cape Town, how's life in the location. Transkei helped me a lot in terms of finishing my high school Landuk career. So I studied there my standard 9 and my matric. And I'm sure if I was here in Cape Town, I wasn't going to finish school. So I don't know about the other guys, but me, I was taken about by Stoor. At that time, I was playing for Mining Rangers. Did you know that I was playing for Manning Rangers?
Well, Thabo, I only saw when I was doing some research on you, you were playing for Rangers, but you weren't there at the time when I was there.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I was only there for 6 months, eh? And then Sturu came. Actually, he kidnapped me because they just came into my room with 4 other guys. And then they told me that they've come to fetch me. And then I was shocked that, hey, how can a person just come and tell me that he has come to fetch me? Then they said, no, you are going to come tomorrow. I said, well, I didn't take that into my mind. Tomorrow morning, I went to the training session. When I come back, they were there in my front and in front of my flat. I entered, they asked me where are my clothes. I pointed them, no, in that wardrobe. They went into the wardrobe, they took my clothes, they packed them. That's how I left the Mngomeni Rangers.
So let's get this clear.
I was kidnapped in a way.
So you weren't in a position where the teams spoke. The owner just came and got you.
I'm telling you.
You know that can't happen now in this day and age.
And my man, and
did you know how much they were going to pay you? Did you know how long your contract was?
Exactly. That's the thing. I left there without knowing anything, without discussing anything. Everything was discussed in front in Umtata. When I met the elders there, that team was almost, it was owned by the elders, about 5 elders there. The father of Sturu Pasia and the other elders. So when I went there, so when I went there, they said, hey, Udin, they said, hey, you, my son, we want you here, and we are not going to leave here. We want you to play for us. I said, oh, well. And then about the salary, they asked me what I want. Then at that time, I was just enjoying to play football. But I knew that I had to support my family in a way. Then I just told them that, no, man, you know what? You tell me what I should earn. But one thing that I want to tell you, I want to play. So as you can see that I want to play, and then I'd love you to just applaud me, just give me a raise when you see that I'm entitled to get this amount of money. And really, that is what happened. Because you must understand that Rangers was earning around about 1,200. So when I went there, at least I started with 1,008. And which was something new for me, because where I came from, Cape Town Spurs, I was earning 500. Other players, they were earning around about 4,000 something 5 at that time. I was the lowest paid player. So I enjoyed myself there in Umtata.
Well, I'm going to tell you my salary. My salary was 900 Rand. But I was at university at the time, no family, no expenses. I think I was the richest man at university. All my money was just for enjoying myself, going to training. So I loved it. But Thabo, that's such a fascinating story. So you start playing for Umtata Bucks. You start having a very, very good career. And I'm talking high-level football. Like I remember us traveling to Umtata, and we had to play you guys in a game, and you were absolutely fantastic. You know, when they talk about the midfielder going box to box, controlling the game,
my man, telling you.
I'm telling you, fitness, Baba Bubakor. I'm telling you, I couldn't understand your level of fitness. Then Orlando Pirates come calling. Tell us about that.
Sure. Well, at first they thought that where I'm going, I'm thinking that I'm going to play That's a big team where I'm going to. But I told them, no, man, I'm Thabo. I know that I'm going to play. I'm going to fight for my place. Just let me go, then I'll show you. And then I went there. Hey, and one thing I can tell you, my man, when you come from other places, my man, it's difficult for you in Joburg. Some players, they didn't like it. Maybe they think that I was going to take their place. But there were those few players that welcomed me, especially to Misani and Gobe. But I could feel on the first day of my training session that day, some of them, they didn't want to pass me the ball, but I noticed that very quick. Then I adopted to another thing. When they don't pass me a ball, definitely I'll just defend when they are losing it, and pass them, pass the ones that don't want to pass me the ball. So eventually, I arrived at Parade. I think it was Wednesday. My first training session was on Thursday. On the last training session day on Friday, I noticed that when they called my name to go to the camp, hey, everybody was amazed. There was even a sound that and then I told myself, oh, this is my chance. Whoever that was playing that position, he must forget. And then when they announced the first 11, again, I was in the first 11. Then I said, oh, no, they must forget I'm in now. Then I knew that football, I was confident that my abilities, that football is around. It doesn't matter whether you are from Joburg or anywhere. I had that mentality that no one is better than me. I'm the toughest. As you know, that us Rastas, we like to, sorry, we like to, you have got to say that we are the toughest. Anything that you can do, I can do it better. So that used to drive me a lot. So first game, from the first game that I played on that weekend, I was never been sidelined again. I played all the games unless that I'm injured.
So you didn't just have it easy when you got there, which
no, man.
supporters sitting on the sideline wouldn't have known of the difficulties that you had when you got to Pirates, because it just looked like you fitted like hand in glove, like a perfect marriage. But you had difficulties there, but you didn't doubt yourself.
Definitely, you must understand that I'm coming from Cape Town, and I was the only black guy in the team. So these things have been not been wanted. It's in my blood. Nothing can take away my gift. You understand? And the players, they were few, and then in the supporters, those are many people, and then the supporters, they cheered me a lot. I think they are the ones that helped me in a way in all of my career, and especially the Pirates. They could see that maybe others, they knew what I'm bringing for Pirates, because from the first whistle they cheered me on.
Watching you play for Orlando Pirates was a joy. I'll tell you that now. You played some of the best football I saw. You, as I said, the box-to-box midfielder that you watch here in England, the Steven Gerrard, the Frank Lampards, though you were doing that, and you were doing that consistently at a young time. So you start doing well at Pirates. Can you think of some games at Pirates, or a particular game where you were really outstanding and you thought, yo, you're free to sing Galile namhlanje? Can you think of one?
Maybe definitely one will be the one that we drew in Durban against Sundowns, the 3-3. I think it was a very tight game, and we were losing about two, two. First half, we were down 2-0. And then I called the guys up and told them that, hey, the plan that we were given by the coach at the time is not working. Can't we try and use our own discretion and play our own, we adapt to the game. And our role was nobody's going to kick the ball more than 40 yards. Let us try and play a small game. Since we understood that if you can play these small touches and try and beat them and try and minus a player, and then that is when we are going to get a chance to score a goal. And definitely, we started doing that. Immediately, we scored a goal after doing that. We ended up at almost at the finishing of the game, we were leading about 3-2. And then a mistake, I don't know who made the mistake, and then Sundowns, they equalized to 3-3. And I think my performance on that game, I could really feel that I'm dictating the game. I don't know the power that I had on that game. And it was full, and it was a very important game, especially for South Africa. I think that was the game where those officials of the World Cup were here for the 2010 World Cup. Sure, man.
So I can remember this fixture. It was an important historic game for us, and the thing is, it was in Durban where I was living at the time. I remember it was a fantastic occasion. Then you get called up to the national team. In the national team is this European coach, Carlos Queiroz, who comes on. And how did you and Carlos Queiroz work? Because looking from the sidelines, he looked as a manager to enjoy the type of player you were. Tell us about your time working under him.
One thing I can tell you, firstly, at first, at that time that I joined the Landuga, the national team, there was a problem there in the national team. I don't know whether it's still happening now. People that are important are the ones that are playing abroad. If you are playing locally, you are taken as I don't know as what. So I was one of those players who were playing locally. But I had that heart that, hey, even if you are playing overseas, for me, it's the same. I'll make you work for the place, to be in a first team, in the first lineup. So when Carlos came, he came on that era where we were ignored. But you could see on the training session that, hey, no, man, some of us that are playing locally, we are doing what he wants and what he likes. And then he saw that exactly in when we were playing the Africa Cup of Nations in Mali, where we were put it on the bench, all of us that are the local players. I think it was one player that was in the starting lineup. I think it was barely. So the first game we lost, the second game we lost, and we were not playing. After the second game, when we lost, so in the past we sang songs that were saying that we also want to play, trying to pass a message that we also want to play. So I think he asked one of the technical staff guys that what was happening there at the back of the pass. So they explained to him that this is what we want. So when we went into the hotel, he came into our rooms. He spent about 3 hours with us. So we were telling him that, listen here, coach, now that if you are losing here on this last game, we are the ones that are going to go home in South Africa. And then we have to answer there in South Africa that what went wrong there in the African national in the AFCON. So we asked him, please let us play so that we can answer questions there, because all of the guys that are playing overseas, they are not going to go back into South Africa. From there, they're taking flights to where they are playing abroad. So what I liked about that, on the last game, he put us in, the locals, us, Sibusiso Zuma, Namvete, and I think luckily for us, we won the 3-1, and then guess who scored? It was us, the local players, and that was the only win. I think another thing that he liked, I think I was a player who could go to a coach and tell him how I feel or how the other players are feeling, and please correct that, unless if you're not going to correct that, you're going to get a problem. I wasn't afraid to go and tell him that this is the problem. And then you could see most of the time, all the things that I used to tell him that are problematic, he used to also see them that, hey, yeah, this is the way. Sure, man.
So I think the coach deserves a lot of respect there, because he took the opportunity to listen to you as players, and he said he spent 3 hours talking to you guys.
Definitely.
You know, and listening to you, because very easy. I worked under a manager, you worked under Gordon Ingerson. I don't think he listened to us one day. So you have this conversation with him, he opens up, then you start playing more for the national team. I remember you started playing more. So did the culture change in the national team then?
Yeah, I can say so. He changed it. Definitely, he tried now to open his eyes about the local players, not getting into that trap of just looking at the players that are playing abroad, and trying to understand too what is our culture of our football. I think is the only coach that I've played under who's coming from abroad, who tried and understand the way that we play here in South Africa and what is best for us here in South Africa. What are the tactical aspects that are good for us here in South Africa? Most of the coaches that are coming here, they like to come with that mentality that they are coming here to teach us something. And then, especially me, I used to hate that, because you can't be taught and not pass. You mean to tell me that we are such a dumb nation that if you are being taught something, you are not going to understand maybe in a year or two? How long does it take for a person to teach him something? So I think he was one of the coaches that I think he really understood football, and he wasn't robustic that the only way to play football was the way that he knows.
So coming back now to what you've just told us about your admiration for the fact that he was a coach who was open, willing to listen to his players. Let's look at the situation in the current Bafana national team. And let's go back to the comments of Hugo Broos 1 month ago, where he spoke about South African players, their qualities. What did you take from that conversation he had on his media day, having played for the national team?
Hey, okay, some of the other things that you said, I agree with him. But the only thing that I wouldn't agree with him is the mentality that most of the things we have been crying about them all along here in South Africa as players. And what he was talking about, most of the things could have been done by South African coaches. There was nothing new that he was talking about, other than that I could feel in a way a little bit that he was a little bit, what's the word, ignorant or stubborn in a way. I didn't like the way he spoke in terms of, for me to notice that we are like kids. I didn't like that. That's the only thing that I didn't like.
So Thabo, let me just remind you of one of the things he said, and I'm going to read it to you.
Sure.
He says that in the last 22 years, there's been no improvement in South African football, and it needs an emergency solution. Do you agree with that?
I definitely will agree with that. There's no improvement. It really needs the South African land. I think the South African the people that are handling the national team to come up with another plan of doing things, or in terms of selecting players, or come up with another plan of trying to improve how we play here at home. It looks like most of the players that are playing now, they are only playing for positions. It has to be selected in the first 11. Other than being natural, there's no more flair. I think we are a nation that needs to play with flair. That is when we get the results. As you can notice that we are not a nation that has got big players, tall players. So definitely we can't play the European way. We have to play the South African way. And I think I can agree with him on that. We haven't improved for many years.
Okay, Thabo, yeah.
In one place, yeah, sure.
So he said quite a lot, but I'm going to tell you something else he's also said. So here we go.
Sure.
And these are Hugo Broos, the national team manager's words. We don't have those quality players that are playing in Europe. Let's face the problem that the level of the PSL is not high enough. Percy Tau is one of the players in South Africa, but he can't even succeed at Al Ahly. This is not good. What are your views on those comments?
Hey, yeah, most of the percentage I'll give it. Yeah, he is talking the truth in a way. At the moment, we don't even have. Sorry, we don't have many players that are playing abroad. Since there's that thing that if you play abroad, you are a good player. And then the quality really in our South African football, it really needs something. And I think the other thing that plays a part in this not developing, not going forward, is this keep on changing of coaches in one season. You'll find a team changing coaches about 4 times in a season. I think those are the other things that are killing our football. And we've got a lot of coaches that are coming from different countries abroad. So we have got a lot of philosophies that are being put in our heads in South Africa. So I think that also creates a confusion. If you can stick, I'm not saying we can't take coaches from abroad, but if you can relate to on those days where where we said South Africa were playing good football and something like that. Most of the coaches on the teams that they were playing in our league were South Africans. We had a few coaches that are coming outside of South Africa. When we started to have money and went for those coaches from all over the world, I'm sure we are left on getting a coach from China now. I'm telling you, that brings mostly the confusion in our country. We don't have a style now, a philosophy that is this is a South African style. Another thing that is killing us is, if you can notice, since we've changed to this calendar of playing in summer, that is another factor that is killing our boys. We are going to say that they are not performing, they are not improving, they are not the same as the Thabos. The Thabos are playing in winter. Football is a winter sport, but now here in our country, football is a summer sport. I'm telling you, it's not nice to play on 35 degrees. We usually say when you watch these games from abroad, hey, these guys are running. Hey, these guys are running all the way. You can't stop running when the temperature is -3 or is 3. I'm telling you, you have to run. But when it's 35 degrees, I'm telling you, you take one run and the next time you won't take that run. I'm telling you.
Very good point.
So those are the other things. I don't know who came with that suggestion that we should go with the calendar of, I don't know, with the calendar of what, but that thing, it really played against us. We should really think about it. Sure, man.
I couldn't disagree with you more. It benefits some and it's a disadvantage for others.
To plenty, yeah. To majority.
Yes. So, as I said to you on the whistle, we love to listen to our supporters. Sure. So here's a few questions from the USASA players that are just about to go into a national team tournament. So here's our first question.
Okay, this is from Mr. De Sousa from the University of Western Cape. He also knows that Thabo Mngomeni was a coach in the Eastern Cape, and I think he's also in the Western Cape now. So he's asking, this question is, Mr. Thabo Mngomeni, I'm trying to find out what made your career so sustainable over the years at Orlando Pirates. What were the things that you engaged in that made you such a consistent player and sustainable to the team Orlando Pirates over the years?
I think most of the things that drove me maybe to perform the way I performed, the way you say I performed. I'm coming from Cape Town. Cape Town is another place for us who are coming from the locations. We are not given chances to play for these big teams. So you must understand that I was playing there with that anger that I've always, on my whole career, I had to prove myself. So I think that was the drive. And then another thing is that I grew up knowing that people that are playing football are from Joburg. So when I grew up, I always told myself that no, man, it doesn't matter where you come from. Football, a football Lambuga is around. I can play as them or better than them from Joburg. So I always had that thing of trying to prove that I'm better. Though I'm from Cape Town or Transkei or wherever, but I'm not from Joburg. I always had that thing in every game that I'm going to play. There is that thing on my mind that, hey, these guys, they like to think they are the only ones who can play. And then maybe another thing is my style of life, the kind of friends maybe you've got, the people that are next to you, they are the other ones that help you. I was lucky to have a wonderful family, a wife that is strong. I have a mother that support me a lot. I think those are the things that makes a person to continue what he's doing at his utmost best. Lifestyle, it's another thing. Lifestyle, it is very important. Very.
No, Thabo, that's very, very good advice, which brings us to our next question. And you've been very good with your time with us, Thabo. So I want to say thank you very much. But when you and I first made contact, I said, hey, Thabo, we'd like to sit down on a weekend and have a conversation. But you said, no, Courtney, on Saturdays and Sundays, I run my coaching clinics. Can you tell us about that, please?
Well, at the moment, I'm coming from Eastern Cape. I was in the Eastern Cape. Since you know that Eastern Cape, it's another place that has got talent, but it's out of a football net. Here in Cape Town, it's just that I'm not given such an opportunity to share what I've got in this brain of mine. Or so I'm trying to do something there in Langa, where I was born. But even there, my people, they chase me away from the grounds. So I'm in and out trying to share my football knowledge. So at the moment, as we are speaking, I'm not doing anything. I'm sitting here with my B license as a coach and an instructor. But I think there is something that I'm going to be doing with David Nyat. I don't know whether you remember David Nyat.
Oh, dangerous darkies, left back.
Sure.
David Nyati, St. Gallen in Switzerland. Don't. Way too. What a player.
So he has organized me to do something here in Cape Town. I think there is an academy that I'm going to be involved in. Let me wait and see when I'm there, then I'm going to give you a ring and tell you that I am doing that. But unlucky for me, I'm telling you, my man, I would love to share what I've got on my mind, but people who have done quarter of what I've done in football, they are in and out in these programs, in these football programs. I don't know whether I've got bad luck or what. Maybe it's this thing of me being a rasta. I don't know. But I would love to share what I've got. And I think I've got plenty of things that I could share with the youngsters so that they can go further with football.
I will say this to you, Thabo Mngomeni. You are a respected legend in football. We know that the right opportunity will come and it will present itself to you. We wish you nothing but the best. Sure. Thank you very, very much for talking to us today, giving us your wise words, your encouragement, but also your advice for young footballers wanting to move forward. I want to say thank you to you.
Thank you to you, Courtney. For giving me this chance of sharing what I've got, my man. I hope that can play a big part in the youth that are coming there in the football.
And if you want to follow us, if you want to listen more to our podcast, please get on Twitter, get on Instagram, get on YouTube, follow us, OTW_podcast. We are out there for our supporters. We are out there working for you. We hope you have a beautiful day. Thabo, thank you so much.